about that, reached file size limit, which I suppose is maybe a hint that it's time for me to wind up. I did just want to go on about the downsides of discovering I'm an autistic person. I think the big one is, looking back on my past with regret. Thinking of things that I would have done differently, or that I wish other people had done differently for me. And it has, to some extent, affected my relationship with my parents and other family members. I was sort of thinking that, I was clearly struggling with a lot of things as a child. Why were they not more sort of helpful and understanding? I think what is important to remember is that, when I was a child, talking about, the 80s, early 90s, there just wasn't the knowledge, though, even if you did happen to be sort of particularly well read and understood what autism was, then, a lot of the information that was around was inaccurate, was unhelpful, and there were no resources at all to deal with autistic children in schools. And unless you were kind of, severely debilitated, with learning difficulties and things as well, in which case I suppose the only thing that would really happen would be packed off to a special school. And I don't really know what went on in special schools back then. So I can't necessarily say whether that would have been better or worse. I think as well there has been, as I've been saying, quite a big change in my sense of self. And as an autistic person, I am quite change averse. I've sort of been finding it quite stressful, quite difficult to deal with, really, in some levels. I'm coming to see myself as a different kind of person. I described earlier about sort of admitting to weakness. I mean, that has been a double-edged sword. As I say, I still have some sort of aversion to the feeling of being what I always considered in the past to be weak and to be helpless, to be a bit naive, and realising that actually that is a part of who I am is it's quite a big shock. It's a lot to deal with, and it's been quite a emotional journey. I think for anybody else who is considering the idea that they may be one of us, I think the first piece of advice I have to give is look into what it might not be. For example, if you sort of feel like you don't enjoy socialising with other people, have a look at schizoid personality disorder. If you do sort of find that you look for patterns in things, you need things to be in a certain order, and have a look at obsessive compulsive disorder. Look into other things that maybe you don't think it is, but might sound a bit similar, and see see how many pieces fit, and also look into online communities as much as medical resources, because you will find a lot of people there talking about their own experiences, their own inner lives, their own feelings that you will not get on simply a list of symptoms, which you can probably make fit just about anybody if you want to interpret it in that way. I think as well, be prepared for people not being interested. I wrote a sort of long status on Facebook all about how I've been sort of thinking about this for a long time. I've been reading up. I've come to the conclusion that yes, I'm an autistic person, and it's sort of got a couple of likes and one or two people saying, yeah, I kind of feel like that as well. That was it. No, nobody gave a stuff. And it kind of shocked me a bit, because I was kind of, I'd been preparing myself for, being bombarded with questions and, maybe people treating me differently and things. But none of that happened. Someone at work said, oh, we're all a bit autistic. My dad said, oh, everyone's got to have something these days, haven't they? And that was it. Nobody has reacted at all. And I think the third thing is join some communities and take part. Definitely take part. Whether you're just sort of sharing jokes you've seen on Facebook, or sort of talking about you're deep inner feelings. Do engage with any groups online that you see. Some of them are more helpful than others. Obviously, they all have a big range of people in them. Some of whom are nice, some of whom are not so nice. Some of whom are helpful, some of whom are well informed, some of whom are not. So yeah, take everything with a pinch of salt, but do definitely engage with any community you have around you. And certainly I found it's a endlessly fascinating subject, and there is more and more research and more understanding coming to light all the time. The speed at which autistic research is going is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, there's more and more coming out all the time, more and more changing all the time. It is, as I say, a bit hard to keep up sometimes. But yeah, it is. I think because of the internet, we can contact each other. We can share our experiences, and there is a big community forming. Well, that has formed and continues to grow. That is the only place really that you will that you have any chance of finding sort of really accurate information and like-minded people. So definitely do that. And I see time is going on, so I'll leave it there for now. I hope this has been helpful to somebody somewhere. Put your own story in the comments if you feel the need. I'll see you next time.